Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Friday to you all. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. So glad you could join us here this morning on Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning at 6:30. We got a great photo coming in from MJ Rose looking down at Lewiston from last night. She said it was about 6:30 in the evening. Looks like a nice little long exposure there. She said the fog was just beginning to kind of develop at that point. I'd be willing to guess that they probably got some fog out there overnight and even this morning, but that should be allowed to burn off here pretty quickly. I want to thank MJ Rose for sending in this beautiful shot. You can do the same thing from your phone as well. Just download the free Weather NorCal app, and before you know it, you're sharing photos and you're seeing it right here on Coffee with Krueger. How cool is that? Well, we do have a dense fog advisory this morning in effect until about 11 o'clock. There was some pretty dense fog in some areas, down to a quarter-mile visibility or less, and it's going to be more in the way of patchy dense fog. I just woke up this morning and saw pretty dense fog at my house, and then boom, it was pretty much gone an hour later. Just depends on where you are. We're seeing that patchy fog, so be prepared for that on your morning commute. All right, we're going to go take a look at that visibility out there. It looks like it has improved already at the Reading Airport at least, but again, keep in mind there will be that patchy fog in the Reading area. You can see a quarter-mile visibility or less. That's not the case in Willows. There tends to be some funky information coming in for some areas, especially out in Willows, but no, that's probably down to a quarter-mile visibility or less as well. You can see Trinity County, seeing that in the valleys. That's why, of course, Lewiston, we saw that image there, most likely seeing some of that fog, and seeing some fog most likely in Scott Valley. So there you can see the fog in Chico. That's Main Street Chico on Highway 32 there. We're going to take out to Red Bluff. Pretty dense fog there, as you can see here. Barely kind of seeing those car lights, headlights through that fog. But at the Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44, things look okay, right? But again, I think there could be some spots in the Reading area that are most likely seeing some of that fog. Now, this is Sutter Butte. This is south. And you can clearly see that it's just socked in with that fog. And that's really been the case throughout this entire fog event. We've seen it kind of creep its way northward, Glen and Butte counties. Just haven't seen as much north of that, but we certainly have seen some over the last week or so. Let's take a look at your Krueger's Quick Cast for your Friday, January 23rd. There you go, temperatures. Look at that, Reading, 34. So it cleared out from any fog that we did see, and it got down to 34. Now, there could be some patchy frost in some Reading areas, so be aware of that. Temperatures otherwise going to be in the low to mid-40s, where we're seeing more of that fog south of the Reading area. It's 25 degrees for Alturas, 29 for Susanville, 38 in Crescent City, and 46 degrees right now in Eureka. Taking you out the door this morning, well, of course, going to be some of that fog. I do think we're going to see that fog, as we typically see, burn off north, working its way southward. So the fog will persist a little bit longer for places like Chico and Willows and Oroville. Fog for the north coast. Trinity County, you're going to see the fog in the morning, right? But as we, at least some of those mountain valleys, otherwise clearing out. Now the area of low pressure that's been giving us the clouds we've seen over the last several days, that's moved down to the south. Now what's happening is we're clearing things out. High pressure is building back in, and we're going to be looking at that fog burning off. And once it does, we're looking at sunny skies and warm temperatures. Now, you can see here, check this out. As we go into tonight, fog actually redeveloping in parts of the valley. But notice what happens. It dissipates by tomorrow morning. That's because we're going to see a bit of a north wind coming in tonight and tomorrow morning. And as we see more clouds move in for Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday, probably won't see that reemergence of that fog either. If you're heading out to the ski park, still open today, 24 inches at the top of Douglas. We've been watching it kind of just drop a little bit more and more. Groomed with that thin cover. You need to be on the lookout for those unmarked obstacles. Don't want to scratch up your snowboards or your skis. So you got to be careful. I know my son, for example, they've got a voluntary practice at the ski park. He doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to scratch up his board. And then, of course, we're going to Tahoe this weekend. So excited. They're going to be doing some practices up there at Sierra Tahoe. And then Monday, Tuesday, I will be doing this show from Tahoe on Monday and Tuesday. I'll be doing your morning updates as well. And then we've got meteorologist Aurora Murray. She'll be filling in for me at noon and in the evening so I can go out to the ski parks and enjoy it. while my son also participates in some races too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, we need more snow. And from what I'm hearing, they need more snow up there in Tahoe as well. Now, look at the rainfall chances. It doesn't look very good, does it? Wednesday is the day that we're looking out for. And yesterday it looked more promising. And then I wake up this morning and I'm looking at the forecast models. I'm like, what? Come on. Now it's like backing off again on the chances for rain. We're going to talk about that in more detail a little bit later. But here you can see low to mid 60s in the valley. Now, again, these temperatures in the valley are really going to depend on how quickly the fog burns off. 57 Chico, 66 Redding, upper 40s for the mountains, and mid to upper 50s for the coast. Now, tonight, we're dropping down to the low 40s. Look how cold it's getting in the mountains. We got some cold air moving in. And it's going to get into the teens and 20s to the north and east, 20s and 30s to the west. And even for the coast, you're looking at temperatures dropping down to the mid to upper 30s for your overnight lows. So let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. I put the word chance for Wednesday, but I'm going to tell you right now, don't count on it. I mean, that's what it's looking like right now. Take a look at the coast. Yeah, I think there's better chances there, inland and also Trinity County. Again, we're going to talk about a little bit more detail why the chances are better there than anywhere else, right? Because you head out to Mount Shasta, El Turris, and Susanville, same thing, just a chance. The farther east you go, the slimmer the chances of that rain on Wednesday. And, you know, it's going to be high snow levels too. So that's the other thing we got to talk about. All right, so that is your quick cast. If that's all you need, great. Have a great day. If not, we're going to go into that deeper dive here in just a bit. But first, take a look at some of the cameras out there. We're going to talk to some of you this morning too. We got Lisa saying, good morning. Lisa saying, make it to Friday. Made it to Friday. Yes, we did. Let's see what she's got to say here. Made it to Friday. Have a great weekend, all. I agree. Constance coming in this morning saying, been clear up here, 3,750 feet west of Wairika. Of course, you can see some of the fog that we are seeing in the valley, by the way. And Deborah Ann is also checking in this morning. She is saying, good morning, 25 degrees so far, no fog in Etna. Thank you, Deborah, for that report. I was wondering about that. I did see, it looks like there was some patchy fog in western Siskiyou County and the Scott Valley. We'll take a look at that camera here in just a bit. But that's Highway 99 at Neal Road. Pretty dense fog there. So just be careful this morning on your morning commute anywhere in the valley, really. You can see Red Bluff, I-5, very dense fog there. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. All right, you can see off in the distance the mountains. So looks like the fog has really dissipated there pretty quickly here this morning in many cases. But still, there may be some patchy fog. This is mainly south of our area and kind of getting south between Chico, Sacramento, and we see more of that dense fog. Crescent City Harbor District looks like we're seeing mainly clear skies there this morning. Not much in the way of fog there either. Bald Hill West socked in with that fog. Typically we can look down at Hoopa Valley, but got a lot of fog there. Taking a look at the Soda Ridge camera, looking out at some of the crags there and still looking at some of the summit with some snow, but not much fog out there, is there? Now, it looks like there is some patchy fog in Scott Valley. So where Deborah Ann is, she's saying so far no fog in Etna. So yeah, and you can see how it's patchy. Looks like there are some patchy spots in Etna. So there she is, Deborah Ann saying no fog. But we do have Charlie saying crazy fog down in Cottonwood. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. We've definitely got a lot of that going on here. Let's take a look at what Curtis Perrin has to say this morning. And he said, good morning, Mike. Beautiful day yesterday. It was. I agree. I know I was enjoying some beautiful sunny skies. Went out for a walk with the dog. She really enjoyed it. Lassen Park still has some snow up there this morning, 6,700 feet. Of course, no big surprises there. Today is Friday. We got our Haven Humane Society Pet of the Week sponsored by Grange Co-op. And this week, it's a little fuzzy, the video. The video that they sent me was kind of low resolution, so you should still be able to see just how cute the dog is. Very adorable dog, so be sure to check that out. Pet of the Week, sponsored by Grange Co-op.
Hi, this is Maisie with Haven Humane Society, and this is our pet of the week, Petunia. She is perfectly potato-sized, baked to a golden crisp. She's 7 years old, and we think a Mastiff mix. She weighs just over 80 pounds. We think her ideal home would be one willing to give her plenty of cozy beds and blankets to lay on, as that is her favorite thing to do. She spends a lot of time in our adoptions manager's office, and she loves to just hang out. If you're looking for a girl to sit on the couch with and watch The Bachelorette with, she's definitely a girl. She walks well on the leash, and she loves pretty much any treat you could ever throw her way. She's delightfully drooly, if you like that about a dog. Her adoption fee is fully sponsored thanks to our Pals Fund that helps senior dogs find their forever homes. If you're interested in meeting her, come down to Haven Humane and check her out, or give us a call at 530-241-1653.
Once again, I want to thank Grange Co-op for sponsoring Pet of the Week, and of course, Petunia. Thanks, Grange Co-op, as well. And we thank you. If you want to take Petunia home and make it your home, Petunia's forever home. So be sure to call Haven Humane Society if you are interested. We've also got Lori, who just kind of checked in this morning. She is saying good morning. Happy Friday. Foggy here, south of Red Bluff. Certainly no surprises there. Again, as you head south of Reading, Reading, there was some fog this morning, pretty dense, and then it kind of cleared out at the Reading airport, reporting what I think was 3-mile visibility. But there is going to be some of that patchy fog in the Reading area. And by the way, I wanted to show you something here, because as we get into the forecast, we're going to be talking about some pretty intense weather we're going to see here over the weekend in parts of the nation. As you may or may not know, I'm part of a weather network. It's called the National Weather Network. So what I do, there are many other meteorologists across the nation that do what I do with Weather NorCal. You can see all the red dots, and you can pick one of those red dots and find a local forecast for that area. This is Peak to Plains Weather. He's awesome. His name is Mike as well. No, Matt. I'm sorry, Matt. But he's been there forever, and he just launched this year. We got Nebraska TV Weather, and you see all these red dots. Now, this is going to be the area here where we really see the big cluster of red dots. That's where they're going to be really impacted by these storms. Now, if you have any friends or family that will be impacted by these storms over the weekend, you can follow any one of these sites. Just go to nationalweathernetwork.com, and then you can click on this. So, for example, let's go to my friend over at Digital Weather Desk. You see that? And you can go in here. You can get the forecast. They've got also... Oh, this is fun too. Look at all these. Look it up. See how I'm part of all this? You see Weather NorCal there at the top part of your screen there. You've also got Mike Witcher at East Tennessee Weather. You see he's talking about the freezing rain potential. It's going to be a mess. Just to the right of him is Matt Laubon from Mississippi Live. And you can see there, he's covering the weather. All these meteorologists that you see on the screen right here, they have been in their area for at least 15, 20, 25 years, just like me. They're all very well-known meteorologists in their area. There is Chris out at Panhandle Weather in Florida. You got James Spann out in Alabama Weather Network. So a lot of great resources for you. If you are, look at, we've also got Nick Mikulis from Senlaw Weather in Louisiana, also talking about the freezing rain potential out there. So this is going to be, it's going to be a big deal over the weekend, folks, and you're going to be hearing about it in national headlines. But if you have friends or family, or if you are there, you can check one of my friends out here at the National Weather Network and get some really good coverage of that area. So just wanted to kind of point that out. It's a great place for you to really check out other areas across the nation if you want to get that localized forecast. Oh boy, I messed things up, didn't I? We'll get there. Well, that's a great shot. Actually, I wanted to show that shot because we're going to be showing that here in just a second. Right here. Yeah, there it is. Once again, I want to show a photo from MJ Rose this morning. She took this yesterday evening, right before sunset, as a matter of fact. Right after sunset, excuse me. And she said the fog was just beginning to come in. Most likely it's pretty foggy out there this morning. And if you want to share your photos, as I mentioned earlier, you can share them from the free Weather NorCal app. If you don't have it, my next question is why not? Be sure to get it. You know, even if you watch me all these other places, the app is just great to have in general because it's local and it's a forecast that's generated by me, not by some AI computer, right? It's got human involvement and interaction. All right, as you know, Weather NorCal is sponsored, and well, the Coffee with Krueger is sponsored by Wind River Resort and Casino since day one. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Okay, so here's your weather headlines. Morning mountain valley fog. That's what we're going to see here probably for the next several mornings. We've also got less valley fog this weekend. Yeah, so we're seeing the fog this morning in many cases for the Sacramento Valley, but the winds are going to pick up later tonight and tomorrow morning, and that should help really prevent that fog from developing at least tomorrow morning. Slight temperature drop over the weekend, but nothing major, and then slight chance for showers as we go into the middle of next week. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to go into your deeper dive forecast, which is sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Hearing isn't just about sound, it's about being part of every moment. This isn't your grandparents' hearing aid, it's a smart hearing aid for modern life. It's Bluetooth enabled, easy to control from your phone with your personal prescription, delivering the clarity you need. All that technology at half the cost of competitors, so you never miss a moment worth hearing. With our Here For You program, you get personal care and support every step of the way. This is what quality care sounds like.
All right, so once again, want to thank Shasta Hearing Aids for sponsoring their deeper dive forecast. Let's get you right into it. We're going to talk about the visibility right now. So earlier this morning, just even an hour ago, we were down to about a quarter mile of visibility or less for Redding. So we're already seeing improving conditions for the Redding area. Not so much to the south of that though, right? We got the reports in Cottonwood. We got the reports out in Red Bluff. Seeing that fog, right? And we saw the images of the fog there. That's not accurate, by the way. Quarter mile visibility or less in some of those mountain valleys of Trinity County. We are seeing some patchy fog in Scott Valley, although we do have a report from Etna. Thank you. It was Deborah Ann. Thank you for your report saying no fog in Etna. But there is some patchy fog in Scott Valley in general. And we're seeing some patchy fog along the coast, but not much. And as we typically see, just usually not as much fog off to the east either. So what can we expect with that fog? All right, well, let's take you through the rest of the day today. Here's midday. It's going to just slowly kind of work its way, dissipate, that is, working its way northward, working from the north to the south. So it will dissipate. We'll see that fog evaporate. We're already starting to see that in the Redding area already. And then we'll kind of see it kind of work its way down. Now, it's still around midday. It may still persist around Chico, Willows, and Oroville. But then look at tonight. Tonight, we actually have some more fog developing Tehama County southward. But look what happens. Instead of it expanding northward, which it usually does, it's dissipating by tomorrow morning. And why is that? Well, because the winds are expected to pick up as we go into tonight, Saturday morning, and with more cloud cover coming in Saturday night, Sunday morning, we're probably not going to see much fog developing Sunday morning either. So the winds this afternoon, they're picking up a little bit here, but look at the sustained winds as we go into tomorrow morning. Now, on average, about 10 miles per hour. Could see some higher gusts in the morning hours, but that right there, that's what's going to keep the fog from developing, and we could see those clear skies as a result. And that's going to keep temperatures mild in the valley where it's much colder in the mountains. All right, and then we go into your Saturday afternoon, still looking at those winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So I want to point something out here. Number one, ridge of high pressure. Yeah, that's what's going to give us those warmer temperatures and dry conditions. This right here is what brought us the cloud cover we've seen over the last few days. But what's interesting is, you look at this and you're like, that's not a very intense storm. And it isn't, at least for us. But the National Hurricane Center was over our region. When the area of low pressure was right about here, they flew over into it to gather data. Now, why was the National Hurricane Center just in an average area of low pressure? Well, they were gathering data because there's a very intense storm that's going to be impacting the central and southern United States, and really even to the north with lots of snow. And so they really want to hone in on what's going on with this area of low pressure, what it's going to do, because it is going to interact with some Arctic air coming in from the north, warmer subtropical moisture. It's going to collide and it's going to create a mess. Let's take a look at that. There you can see this is Futurecast. Snow, freezing rain, and then showers and thunderstorms. And really, what's making it difficult for the forecasters is the positioning of where the snow, the freezing rain, and the rain will be. Because the area of low pressure, if it shifts a little bit more to the north, then you've got more rain than freezing rain. If it shifts a little bit more to the south, then where it's raining, there's going to be freezing rain. And vice versa, kind of the same situation with that snow. So this is going to have, you're going to hear about it over the weekend, major impacts. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, all those areas. And of course, north of that, you're seeing the snow as well. So this will be interesting to see what happens. As I mentioned, go to the National Weather Network and click on these areas here to get local meteorologists' take on what's going to happen with that storm for those areas. Meanwhile, back at home, we're not talking about freezing rain or snow or even rain, much rain that is for that matter. So there's that area of low pressure. It's moving on out. High pressure building back in. Now, this is the GFS forecast model. Let me tell you something. A lot of times we talk about how the European forecast model is usually more spot on long range than the GFS. But I got to tell you, the track record with the GFS over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, has actually been better than the European forecast model. Because this model never really got very aggressive with any chances for rain for the end of this month, which at this point is now the end of next week, or even into the beginning of February. However, the European forecast model, man, it was like lots of rain, high elevation snow at the end of the month and even into February. But now even the European forecast model is beginning to back off on that potential for rain. So it's been a tricky process as we try to really, and again, it just shows you how anything past 7 days, sometimes even 5 days, you just can't 100% rely on it because things can happen, things can change. You get one little change in what's happening and suddenly it just blows the whole forecast. So here's what we got. Look at that. So here we are Wednesday. Now Wednesday is the day that I would think would be the best chance for everyone seeing at least some form of rain. And what I mean by that is either a sprinkle or either some minor accumulation. And most of it I think will be for the North Coast, Western Siskiyou County, and Trinity County. Everywhere else, your chances for anything are pretty slim. Now you can see as we go into the end of next week, we're seeing that, look at that, ridge of high pressure. This right here, this high pressure is the key as to whether or not we see rain because it's blocking the storms, right? If we can get this area of high pressure to move to the south and east or to the east in general, then that may open the door a little bit more for these storms to move in. But what's happening is these storms are doing this. They're coming our way and then boom, they shift up north. Why? Because they're hitting the ridge. Now, sometimes they can, if we can get this to weaken or shift to the east, they can kind of bust through a little bit and they weaken as they bust through, but at least it gives us a little bit of rainfall, but it's just not looking all that great. And just to kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with that high pressure, I'll show you here. So there's that area of low pressure. Here's that high pressure over the weekend right here, right? That's what's going to keep us dry. But you see how it flattens out as we go into Sunday? That will allow more clouds, but no rain. And then look what happens as we go. This storm system right here, a little piece of energy kind of shifts, rotates around that area of low pressure. But again, we have high pressure right here, weak, but it's high pressure nonetheless, and that's what's breaking down. But that's the best chance for rain there, and then look what happens. See that? That's the ridge of high pressure right there. So any energy right here, it all just does this, whoop, shoots up to the north, and we as a result stay dry. So yeah, we're looking for rain. It's out there, but unfortunately it just doesn't have its eyes on Northern California. In fact, I showed you this, remember yesterday, and it just gives you an idea of what the forecast models can do, and they can change their minds very quickly. Remember yesterday? All of this was at least light green. Now it's just off to the west. And quite honestly, as I look at this, I feel pretty good about it. This is actually, I think, a pretty good representation at this point in time that I think is pretty good. Because I think we're going to see 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, maybe 1/4 of an inch of rainfall in some spots along the coast. You start heading inland and into Trinity County, Western Siskiyou County, 1/100th of an inch of rainfall, maybe a few hundredths, maybe a trace. And then anything else that we see elsewhere, a whole lot of nothing. There may be, trace amounts, a sprinkle here and there for some of you on Wednesday into Thursday, really mainly Wednesday. But that's it, folks. That's it. And even yesterday, the Climate Prediction Center had this green extended all the way to at least Nevada. Now it's kind of slimming it down a little bit, shaving it off and getting it really around the valley westward. But even the valley, that's going to have a hard time getting that rain too. Warmer than normal. Although, looking at our overall trend here, I'll show you what we've got going on. It's actually cooling off a little bit here going into the weekend, into Monday, but then they tick back up. Now, the normal high is about 58, so yes, it'll be above normal, but we're not talking about a major heat wave. We're going to be in the low to mid 60s at that point. Lake levels. So again, we're talking about the lack of rainfall. We're not seeing much rain. We're in a bit of a dry spell, but we're okay. We're okay. Look at the lake levels. 125%, 127% of average. They're dropping slowly, although Lake Oroville has actually been increasing, but lakes are healthy. And our rainfall for the season also very healthy, over 100% in most cases. So here you can see the wave heights are fairly high today. They are dropping a little bit going into your Saturday. So, if you need to be on a small boat, that small craft advisory you do have for today should be allowed to expire later this evening. There you can see north winds at 15 to 20 knots, waves from the northwest at 8 feet at about 8 seconds, and from the west at 4 feet at about 14 seconds. All right, let's wrap this up. Talk about our neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. Here you go for today. Upper 50s to about 60. Best chances for rain, best chances for measurable rainfall. We talked about it, right? Trinity County, the North Coast, and that's why I've got raindrops falling from the clouds on Wednesday for everywhere west of the valley, which does include the inland areas. There's that chance for showers Wednesday, but dry up until that point. Now, Fort Jones, Happy Camp, all these areas here have the better chances. You start heading east where those chances will be slimmer on Wednesday. So I've got the word chance in there for Wednesday in Mount Shasta City. Modoc County got the word chance for you, but I tell you what, your chances are very slim. It's not looking good at all. Take it on to the south, same thing for the eastern mountains. The farther east you go, the slimmer the chances of that really breaking through that ridge. 50 degrees for Chester, 58 degrees for Paradise, and Shingletown about 59. And your valley neighborhood forecast to the south, again, I put the word chance. Listen, we can't rule it out, but again, it's something you can't really necessarily count on. Your 7-day forecast for Chico. Temperatures a little bit cooler for Sunday, Monday, back up to the upper 50s to about 60 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 66 for Redding and Anderson, 65 for Cottonwood and Red Bluff, 62 degrees, and 66 degrees in Palo Cedro. All right, there's your 7-day forecast for Redding. It's, again, it's just like dropping our temperatures. You'll notice that. A few more clouds coming in Sunday. That's what's going to really be a contributing factor to those cooler temperatures. But then back up in the low 60s by Tuesday, Wednesday, and looks like even some mid-60s by the time we get into your Thursday. So there you go. I was mentioning it in my 6 o'clock in the morning record when I do the weather for 6 a.m. And I was saying this chance for rain that we've been talking about the last week and a half, 2 weeks, it's kind of been a thorn in my side because the models have been all over the place with it. There hasn't been much consistency, and we're still seeing a lack of consistency with it. But really the key is with that high pressure I was talking about. The stronger that ridge, the slimmer the chances of us seeing that rainfall. But if we can weaken it up or even shift it a little bit more to the east, then our chances for rain are going to be a lot better. Kenny Elwood this morning. Hey, how you doing, Kenny? Hey, I'm going to text you this morning because I'm going to be probably shooting a thing with Sharon Clay at Turtle Bay this morning. And I'd love to see if we can meet up after that and discuss what we've been discussing. So good to see you, Kenny, this morning. So warm yesterday. Winter? Yeah, right. I agree with you. Doesn't feel that way at all. We got Krista saying, Mike, cool that we live, that the live feed is embedded and playing at the top of the, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a new feature that is on the, it's been on the Android app for a while, actually, but here in the last couple of weeks, the new feature on the app. So check this out. I can show you. We'll show you what Krista's talking about. It's really neat because you could always see what's going on with the weather. There it is, right there at the top of the app. And all you do is you just tap out to get all that stuff there, and there I am covered up by the social. And then there's a little area where you can post. Warm yesterday, winter. Yeah, right. Right, so that the volume, it's right there. And then all you have to do is you want to make it full screen in the upper right. Do this, and now you're watching. Oh, the lights are in the way, but there you go. How cool is that? Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Krista, because that's a really cool feature. Now, when you get out of the app, I will admit this is a little annoying. It stays up there. All you have to do is just tap the little X, and that takes it off. I'll see if I can talk to support about that and see if that's something they can fix, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Jay saying, good morning, Mike. We've also got Lisa Stevens saying, is there someone in your weather network that has a weather app like yours that covers around Lynchburg, Virginia? I can tell you right now, no. I don't know of anybody in Virginia that's doing this, unfortunately. But I'll tell you that the app that they all have, most of them have, is much like mine. But unfortunately, no. I wish I had somebody in Lynchburg, Virginia. The closest you're going to get would be buddy Nor'easter Nick with Norcast weather. He's in New Jersey. He'd be the closest to it for you. We have got Don saying, good morning, Mike. We got Curtis Brown saying, thanks for the detailed forecast. That's what I do. That's what I love. Details, details, details. And that's why I break it up into two, right? Because not everybody's into those details. And we do that quick cast. But then after that, good stuff. Jennifer saying, love the app. Makes it easier to see the weather at a moment's notice. Well, glad that you enjoy the app. I'm so happy. More and more people are downloading it. Let's keep this going. Tell your friends, tell your family about the app. Have them download it. And let's spread the word. Spread the love. There you go. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody, for checking in this morning. It is Friday. As I mentioned, I am going to be going to Tahoe. I'm leaving tomorrow, taking my son and actually a buddy of his as well, a teammate of his from Alpine. And they've got it all set up. It's going to be at Sierra Tahoe. And we are going to be skiing probably Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Of course, they got practice on Sunday. Then they've got 2 races, one on Monday, one on Tuesday of next week, which I will be recording my show. Next time you see me on the show, I'm going to be in Tahoe doing it there. Monday and Tuesday morning. And then for your noon and afternoon update or evening update, meteorologist Aurora Murray will be filling in for me on both Monday and Tuesday. But I'll still be doing the mornings. And then I'll be back to normal by next Wednesday. So just kind of a little programming note for you. Should be fun out in the Tahoe region. I always enjoy that. And it's kind of funny. I was checking up on the Airbnb and I asked them if their internet service was very fast. They're like, we got 1 gig up, 1 gig down. I'm like, that's faster than what I've got here. I can't even get that here, at least at my house. Frustrating. I'm waiting for that potential to be able to get really that fiber going, but not in my neighborhood. Be nice. Although if I want to have it, especially it's like $500-600 a month. I'm not willing to pay that. That's for sure. All right, folks, that's going to do it. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to mention this. It's just more exciting for me because I absolutely love it. Let's see here, calendar. Oh, there's all the channels, by the way. Was it National Calendar Day? Yeah, National Calendar. There we go. Oop. I think it's going to say it because I'm pretty sure today is, there it is, National Pie Day. There it is, National Pie Day. So one of my things, I'll go ahead and pop it up here. National Pie Day is January 23rd. National Pie Day on January 23rd celebrates the nation's favorite desserts. No matter how you slice it, pie in just about any form makes the crowd happy. Fruit pies, berry pies, cream pies. So here's the thing. Oh, look at this. We asked followers which their favorite type of pie is. A cherry. Apple is 37%. I love apple. That's one of my favorites, but I'm going to tell you in a second what my favorite is. Blueberry and other, 24%. What's your favorite kind of pie? Maybe I should ask you all that. Have a little fun here. For me, you know what I love? Rhubarb pie. Now, people talk about rhubarb pie. Rhubarb, strawberry rhubarb. No. Just the rhubarb. So when I grew up in Minnesota, and we had a garden, and we had rhubarb in our garden. My mom used to pick rhubarb from the garden, and she made rhubarb pie. Just the flat out rhubarb, no strawberries, none of that. Chris is asking, did you have Thursday dessert? I did, and I may have to give myself an extra treat here today if I can find rhubarb pie. And I think I know a place. So be sure to follow me on Facebook. And if I do indeed go out there, I'll be sure to take a picture of myself at the place with my rhubarb pie. They make those little individual serving ones, which are kind of fun. So there you go. So today is National Pie Day. Get out there and celebrate, enjoy it, have a good time, all that good stuff. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me this morning. I hope you all have a great Friday and an even better weekend. And next time you see me, at least live, will be in Tahoe for my Airbnb in that early in that morning. So be sure to check that out. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day and a great weekend. And we are going to leave you with some cameras this morning and a little bit of jazzy music. Have a great day, great weekend.